We are nearly 2 weeks away from the primary election. Voters will see 2 referendum questions at the end of their ballots on August 13th.
Members of the Democratic Party are urging people to vote no on those referendum questions, while Republicans want you to vote yes. Both measures are about giving the legislature more ability to limit the executive branch's authority to spend money. Chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin, Ben Wikler, says if these referendums pass, there would be real consequences.
We know that emergencies happen all the time. There are floods, there are fires, there are tornadoes, there are storms, there are blizzards. With these kinds of emergencies, we need to make sure that funds immediately get to the front lines, to the people and communities and first responders that need those funds.
Today's push by state Democrats prompted response from the other side of the aisle. Republican Party of Wisconsin Chair Brian Schimming says all that power should not be in the hands of one person.
It's important that the power of the purse be kept with the people. Under the Democrats' position right now, of the 133 elected officials at the state capitol, they want to keep all the power for all of this federal spending with one person.
But what exactly are those referendum questions? A political science expert tells us they're both written in vague, ambiguous ways, but involve things that are extremely important.
New at 6, Grace Hodak has you covered on what you're voting on in just a couple of weeks.
These 2 referendum questions, according to political science expert Howard Schwaber, are not the easiest to understand.
Both of these referendum provisions are written in such general and vague terms about such technical questions.
The first question has to do with delegation of appropriation power,
which is the one that would create a constitutional amendment preventing the legislature from delegating its authority over expenditures to the executive.
The second question is regarding the allocation of federal monies.
It appears to require both houses of the Wisconsin state legislature to approve any allocation of those federal funds. And in the situation of an emergency, that could obviously hold up the process very considerably or even stymie it.
Schwaber says both referendums can be interpreted in several different ways and says it's unreasonable to expect voters to know what's at stake.
This looks like an effort to erase executive discretion, which would be truly radical, truly contrary to basic constitutional principles. And so when you ask, how would I rewrite this referendum question, the answer is I would not allow a question of this importance and this complexity to be in a referendum in the first place.
In short, both measures are about giving the legislature more power to limit a governor's ability to spend money. Schwaber says he expects them to pass.
They're being considered in a very low turnout primary election, which traditionally favors Republican voters. The one thing voters know about these provisions is that they're favored by Republicans and disfavored by Democrats.
In Madison, Grace Hodak, 27 News.